video we're going to discuss all about the formulating hypothesis. I guess this might the last lesson I'm going to discuss in statistics and probability subject. Now, for more information about these lessons, watch this video till the end, so let us begin. Excuse me. In formulating hypothesis, we have two types, such are null and alternative hypothesis. So, proceed tayo sa null hypothesis. If we say null hypothesis, the null hypothesis denoted by HO is a statement that there is no significant difference or no difference between a parameter and a specific value, or no phenomena is observed, or there is no relationship between what you have compared. So meaning, in null hypothesis, there is no alternative in that particular phenomena. No? Next, we have alternative hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis denoted by H alpha or H1 that contradicts the null hypothesis. In null hypothesis, we already said that means there is no significant relationship between the phenomena that you're comparing. So, alternative, from the word contradicts itself, it is opposite of null hypothesis. So meaning, in conclusion, meron siyang significant difference. So in other words, it allows the possibility of many values. Alright? Next, we have steps in formulating hypothesis. First is identify the parameter of interest. Determine the claim. Its claim to be test, null or alternative. Translate the claim into mathematical symbols or notation. Formulate the null and alternative hypothesis. Meron tayong hypothesis testing common phrases here. So kapag nakarinig kayo ng word na the phrase na is equal to, is the same as, is exactly the same as, or has not changed from. Kapag ganyang phrase ang naririnig nyo, that is equal. We're going to translate it into mathematical notation. Then, kapag nakarinig naman kayo ng phrases ng is increase, is greater than, is above, is bigger than, is lower than, is more than. Kapag yung mga yan ay narinig nyo, that is greater than symbol from itself, diba? Then kapag may equality naman ang inyong greater than or equal to, itong possibly ang phrases niyan is at least, is not less than, is greater than, or equal to. Then, kapag nakarinig ng mga is not equal to, is not the same as, is different from, has changed from, that is at not equal sign. Opposite. Then, kung dito is increase, dito naman is decrease kapag less than. Is great. Kung greater than, dito is less than. Kung is above, is lower than, or is below. Bigger than, or is smaller than, or kung longer than, is decrease or reduce from, or is not more than. Alright? How about this? Kung ito is at least, ito naman is at most. Is not less than, is not more than, is greater than or equal to, or is less than or equal to, kapag ito ang symbol. We have two directions. We have directional and non-directional hypothesis testing. In directional hypothesis testing, it is also called one-tailed test if we're going to apply it in a normal curve. Alternative hypothesis contains the greater than or less than symbols. It is directional, either right-tailed or left-tailed. How about non-directional hypothesis testing? It is also called the two-tailed test. Alternative hypothesis contains an inequality symbol. Ito, makikita niyo naman siguro. It has no direction, of course. Ito siya. Ayan. Yung makikita nyo, imagine nyo na paano nyo may apply yung directional. Isipin nyo, kung left, isipin nyo lang wala. Asan na yung cursor? Isipin nyo lang wala to. Kung right-tailed naman, edi isipin nyo wala yung kaliwa. How simple as that? Alright. In directional hypothesis, it has two types such are left-tailed and right-tailed. Ang left-tailed, itong symbols for null hypothesis, greater than or equal to. Siyempre, automatic pag null hypothesis may equal eh. Ang alamin nyo lang, saang direction yung inyong Pac-Man symbol. Kung to the left or to the right. Alternative hypothesis. Kapag walang equal sign sa ilalim, that is less than. Now, let us try solve problem number 1. A survey conducted, the college student in their study stated that cell phone owners receive an average of 65 texts every day. What parameter should this student consider proving the claim? State the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Our solution, the parameter of interest is the average number of text message received every day. The null hypothesis is the average text every day is 65. In symbol, HO, your mean is 65. That is your claim. Your alternative hypothesis is the average text received is not equal to 65 in symbol. So since non-directional, wala sinabing at least, wala sinabing below. Alright? Now, in your alternative, all, not equal. Ganon lang tayo mag-i-state ng isang conclusion. O ano ang parameter, ano ang null, ano ang alternative. In sentence. And symbol also. So problem number 2. The treasurer of a municipality claims that the average net worth of family in the municipality is at 730,000 pesos. So your solution, the parameter, is the average and the claim is that the average is at least 730,000 pesos. Pwedeng ganyan yung ano nyo. Isama nyo yung even number, basta kasama yung word. Parang dito nyo na kasi ini-state yung claim. Ano ang claim ninyo? No? Next. Ito yung tawag dito. Ito yung alternative, the null hypothesis, and this is your alternative. Kasi pag sinabing at least, ito yung sa null hypothesis nyo. Then kapag alternative, baliktarin nyo, alisin nyo lang yung underline sa ilalim. Now, solve problem number 3. Holistic Fitness Center claims that their members above an average of 13 pounds after joining the center. Your solution, the parameter to be tested is the average and the claim is above of 13 pounds. Then your null hypothesis is the average is less than or equal to 13. Sabi nga is above. In your null, Yan. Or equal to 13. Then your claim is alternative hypothesis is greater than. Since above, kung makikita nyo, tatandaan nyo lagi yung phrase. Yun yung magiging highlight nyo kung paano kayo gagawa ng mathematical symbols or notation. Now, statistics. First, we have z-test and t-test. So, in z-test, the z-test will be used if your number of samples is greater than or equal to 30. Itong inyong formula. Where z is your z-test, of course. Your x, the raw score, means that is your sample mean. Then the Greek letter U, that is your population mean. Then another Greek letter O is your population standard deviation. And your N is your sample size. How about t-test? Siyempre, ang t-test naman ginagamit siya kapag ang number of samples nyo ay less than 30. Actually, pares lang naman ang process yan eh. Ang lang, yung given. Your T is your t-test. The X is your sample mean. Then the Greek letter U is your population mean. And then your S is sample deviation. And your N is sample size. Now, rejected region. It is the set of all values of the test statistic that cause us to reject the null hypothesis. It's also called as the critical region. In the next slide are the graphs to remember the reject. Ayun, kapag directional, it's, diba, kung left tail test, yung nakikita yung shade, that is the rejected region. Ganon din, kapag dito sa right, syempre nasa right ang rejected region. Kapag non-directional, wag na kayong magtaka dahil combination. Yan. Alright, I hope you all get my point. And magigets nyo yun kapag nag-ano tayo ng problem. We have steps in traditional method of hypothesis testing. First is to describe the parameter of interest. Example, mean, proportion. Formulate the hypothesis or PS. Null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Yun, po-formulate niyo siya. That is, state a null hypothesis in such a way that a type 1 error can be calculated. Ano ulit, kapag type 1 error, you're going to reject the truth. Ba? Choose a significance level size for alpha. Make alpha small when the consequences of rejecting a true null hypothesis is severe. Is the test two-tailed or one-tailed? Get the critical values from the test statistic or table or t-table. Establish the critical region. Ito optional lang to ha. Hindi siya required. Pero depende pa rin siguro sa teacher nyo. Draw a normal curve. Draw vertical lines through the critical values and shade the rejection region. Paano yung sinasabi? Ito. Magano kinisang under ng line sa basta na, kunwari, itong baba nito, yun yung critical values nyo. Halimbawa, kung non-directional, magkabilaan. Kabilaan. Gawin natin kabilaan. Then, isi-shade nyo yung region. Which is ito yun. Yan na lang ibig sabihin ng optional step sa step 3. Select the appropriate test statistic. Compute the test statistics using appropriate formula. It's either z-test or ano yon, t-test. Pero nakadepende siya sa number of samples ninyo. Ngayon, dito kasi sa step 5, yan na yung parang ano na kayo. Road to conclusion. Base sa makukompute nyo, kayo ang humusga if you're going to reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative, or if you're going to accept the null hypothesis then reject the alternative hypothesis. Compare the computed test statistics and the critical value. Then based on the decision rule, decide whether to reject or not to reject the null hypothesis. Not to reject or accept. You are going to interpret the results. Optional, take a course action. Ibig sabihin, dito sa optional steps na to, ano ang magagawa mo doon sa inano nyo. Kasi ano yun sa research. Sa inyo, I'm not mistaken, kung di ako nagkakamit, chapter 5, depende siguro sa format. The conclusion, discussion, recommendation ba yun? Basta, yun. Now, we have basis of decision making is either two-tailed, right-tailed, and left-tailed test. Now, your two-tailed test, kapag ang computed test statistics nyo ay greater than, ay less than sa negative, ay less than or equal to critical value in one-tailed, or your z is greater than or equal to your z alpha over 2 or your critical value, we are going to reject the null hypothesis and support the alternative hypothesis. Then, we have z is greater than negative alpha over 2. Asin nyo lang yung inequality. We do not or we fail to reject the null hypothesis, and the alternative hypothesis is not supported. Ganyan ang ano nyo. Halimbawa, ito yung computer statistics nyo. Mas mataas ay mas mababa or equal sa inyong given mean. That is, kasi ito yung makikita nyo sa t-table. No? That means you're going to reject the null hypothesis. Mga ganun ba? Next, in right-tailed, kapag ang z nyo ay greater than or equal sa z alpha over 2 nyo, or the computed test statistics is greater than or equal to critical value, we are going to reject the null hypothesis and support the alternative hypothesis. Then kapag less than or kapag mas mataas ang critical value kesa sa computed test statistics, we do not or we fail to reject the null hypothesis. And the alternative hypothesis is not supported, of course. Then left-tailed test, kapag mas mataas ang critical value kesa kay computed test statistics, we are going to reject. Then kapag mas mataas naman ang computed test statistics sa inyong critical value or equal, we do not reject. Ganun lang siya kabila. So, interpretation of decision rule. Decisions interpretation, reject null hypothesis. Ganyan yung yung phrases or sentence kapag nag-state na kayo ng decision after you computed all. If you're going to reject or accept. Ngayon, ganito. Kapag ni-reject nyo ang null hypothesis, ito ang gamit. There is enough evidence to reject null hypothesis. Or, there is a significant difference between the sample mean and the population mean. Next, fail to reject null hypothesis. Siyempre, there is no enough evidence to reject the null hypothesis. There is no significant difference between the sample mean and the population mean. Alright? Sabi sa inyo, ito yung sa critical value. Paano nyo ang critical value kung wala kayo nitong t-table? Diba? Sige, simula tayong isa. A researcher used to a developed problem excuse me, solving test to randomly select 50 grade 6 pupils. In this example, your sample mean is 80 and your sample standard deviation is 10. The mean and the standard deviation of population used in the standardization of the test were 75 and 15 respectively. Use 95% confidence level. Ngayon, apply natin yung steps. Ito yung mga steps. Step 10. Ngayon, una natin step 1, the parameter of interest. Ito yung problem ha. Ito lang tutukan. The parameter of interest is the mean of the population where the sample from. Then, next, step 2, formulate the hypothesis. Null and alternative hypothesis. That is, state a null hypothesis in such a way that a type 1 error can be calculated. Ayan ang inyong, tawag dito? Ang inyong null and alternative. Kasi wala man kasi sinabi rito kung above or least, greater than, less than, wala. Wala naman sinabi, di ba? Next, choose a significant level for alpha. Make alpha small when the consequences of rejecting a true null hypothesis is severe. Ngayon, sa paghanap ng alpha, since ito ang confidence level kasi natin 0.95 or 95%. Ito yun na yung alpha nyo. We have 0.05. Since we are conducting two-tailed test, ito yun ha. So your critical value is 1.96. Ito two-tailed test. We have 1.96. Positive and negative. Ayan. Alright. Ganyan lang tayo. Una, hanapin nyo since two-tailed. Ito yung 0.5. Dapat alam nyo kung saan nakatapat. Hindi dito kasi one-tailed lang yan. Two-tailed. And, ayan na yung column niya. Then, dito kasi kayo babase kung ano ang critical value. Yung 95%. Next. Ayan na yun. We have positive and negative 1.96. Then 1 minus alpha. Alpha over 2 is 0.025. Or your null hypothesis. Ito yung rejected ha. Rejected region. Next, select the appropriate test statistics. Since n equals 50 and 50 is greater than or equal 30, so the test statistics to be used is z-test. Ayan ang z-test. Ano nyo? Then 80 minus 75 all over 15. Number of sample. Your standard deviation is 15. Okay. And your ito, sinolve nyo, ito yung lumabas. Then, we have 2.36. Next, state the decision rule for rejecting the null hypothesis. Reject HO because 2.36 is greater than 1.96. So, ito yun eh. Mas mataas yung computed zeta statistics nyo kesa sa critical value. So, tingnan natin. The null hypothesis is rejected. There's enough evidence to reject the null hypothesis. There is a significant difference between the sample mean and the population. So, well done. So, yun. Done na tayo And thanks for watching. So finally, we're done in our 9 lessons in statistics and probability subject. Thanks for watching. Salamat sa mga sumubaybay mula sa simula. Ayun, meron pa naman tayong ibang content. Meron pa tayong chemistry, meron pa tayong physics, meron pa tayong 7, 8, 9 na grade levels. So yun, thanks for watching. See you in my next videos.